boy cashes.
I'ma grind, get this paper. I'ma shine on a head.
YouTube, what is going on from there? Top 23. I'm back with another video. Before we get into the video, I need you to hit that like, comment, and subscribe button. Turn on that post notification bell while you at it. Today we got what happened to Pablo Escobar's Deadliest Hitmen. Let's get straight into it.
Pablo Escobar, aka the Boss, is thought to be the biggest drug trafficker the world has ever seen. It is estimated that at one point, Pablo Escobar was responsible for 80% of all the cocaine being smuggled over the world. At the height of his power, the cocaine lord of Colombia was smuggling 15 tons, or nearly $500 million worth of cocaine into the US every day. Along with his massive drug empire, Pablo Escobar also had a ruthless army full of serial killers. These men killed for Pablo and were loyal to him and no one else. They were called sicarios, and the most famous of these were Popeye, La Cuica, and Blackie. If you're a fan of the hit Netflix series Narcos, you're probably familiar with them already. Well, today we're going to take a look at where these cold-blooded murderers are today, and what's the story behind their obsession with killing people. Number 1, Popeye. Popeye might sound childish and cute, but he's anything but. Juan Jairo Velázquez is the real name of Popeye, given to him due to his protruding jaw, which was later fixed through surgery. The story of Juan Jairo Velázquez starts in Yarumal, Antioquia, Colombia. As surprising as it might seem to you, but it's absolutely true, he used to be a part of the Colombian National Army, and then joined the cadet school of the National Police. A hitman like Juan Jairo Velázquez used to be a part of something that was solely created to protect the public. Let's dig deeper. At first, he was part of the school of NCOs of the Colombian Navy, but then he transferred to the National Police Academy, where he studied for only 1 semester. What did he study there? How to shoot people with enough efficiency that they didn't get to blink twice after the bullet is in them? Wherever he learned his skill, it helped him kill 257 people. Well, that is the number of people that he has willingly confessed about murdering. Who knows about the people whom he has killed, but hasn't confessed to? Not only that, but there were also countless kidnappings. Like, kidnapping common citizens and normal people is one thing, but the guy actually kidnapped the candidate for mayorship, Francisco Santos. Not only him, he also kidnapped and murdered Carlos Mauro Hoyos and several other famous politicians in Colombia. So we guess it's safe to say that no matter how rich or influential you are, all it takes is a bullet from Escobar's hitman. If you're horrified after finding out how many people he killed himself, wait until you find out how many killings were arranged by him. 3,000 murders. You heard that right. 3,000 murders were successfully planned by the psychotically genius hitman. Some people might even call him a genius when it comes to planning stuff, even if it was other people's deaths. Definitely not something you should use for inspiration, jokes aside. Where is he right now? 6 feet under. Dead. Gone. Finished. Doesn't breathe the air of this land anymore. While Popeye is a vicious killer, he sure does clean up nice.
¿Cómo aprendió a matar? Me dice a los 12 años. ¿Usted se recuerda cuándo y a quién fue la primera persona que mató?
No, ya el primero que yo maté fue por ahí de 17 años de edad. Fue a un despachador de buses que cuando el primero era conductor de bus y había tumbado la mamá de un amigo nuestro. Cuando conducía, no esperó que se bajara y no que la señora se iba a bajar y se cayó y la mató. Y la dejó ahí tirada como un perro, entonces ese fue mi primer asesinato.
In an interview, Juan fondly talks about the first time he killed. He reveals he bagged his first kill at 17. At that young age, Juan was driven by a sense of righteousness as he killed a bus driver who was responsible for the death of a close friend's mother. Later on in the interview, he reminisced about the first time he ran into Pablo. Believe it or not, Juan used to work for Pablo's mistress. When she left the country, Juan went knocking on Pablo's door, looking for a job, and the rest was history. From 1992 to 2014, he served in prison and received a sentence of 30 years. Murder, extortion, terrorism, drug trafficking. He got out in 2014, however, was sent back to prison after he was arrested for
Bro, 257 people.
And in that picture is this ET.
And they letting you out?
He put
Come on
extortion,
now.
once again. Old habits die hard, I guess. The guy was constantly in and out of prison until he finally died of stomach cancer. Interestingly, he also set up a YouTube channel during his time out where he told stories about his time as a vicious, stone-cold killer. According to him, there was an 80% chance that he was going to be killed by a former gang member. I guess even psychotic killers aren't safe from cancer. Moving on to the next hitman of the world's deadliest drug lord. Number 2, La Cuica. La Cuica, or Dandeni Munoz Mosquera, is considered by many to be the most ruthless and violent out of all of Pablo's killers. Dandeni made his way into the Colombian drug war after being inducted into the Colombian army. However, he was soon discharged due to several minor theft charges. From here, he made his way into Pablo Escobar's cartel, the Medellin cartel. This is when he was given the nickname of La Cuica. La Cuica means fat girl, and was given to Dandeni due to his resemblance with his aunt. La Cuica soon rose to the top of the cartel's ranks, and became an expert at everything torture. Not only was he one of Pablo's most trusted hitmen, but was also responsible for helping Pablo's army of killers. La Cuica ran a sort of training camp for hitmen. Kids, usually boys, but sometimes girls too, were taken from the street and trained to be loyal and expert killers for hire. La Cuica was one of the best at what he did. After murdering his victims, he would carve the words KK on his victims. This was so he could prove that he was in fact the one responsible for the murder. It is rumored that he also skinned his victims alive, and sometimes went as far as having them castrated. For La Cuica to take up this lifestyle is quite surviving, since he had humble origins. His father, believe it or not, was a policeman, while his mother was an evangelist. He was also related to the church during his early life. The US was after him for quite some time. However, they couldn't do anything since they didn't have the jurisdiction. All this changed after the 1989 bombing of Flight Avianca. You see, Pablo Escobar liked to make a statement. If one person needed to be killed, he would have the entire bus or plane blown up. For the murder of an inside informant, La Cuica was hired to blow up an airplane. The hour-long flight was cut short as the plane blew up in mid-air, killing all 101 passengers on board. This plane had 2 American citizens on board, the death of whom gave the US a reason to come after La Cuica. The crime made La Cuica the first person to be convicted under the 1956 federal law, which criminalized bombing a civilian aircraft. He was also the first person to be tried under the 1986 terrorism statute, which allows the US justice system to put foreign criminals on trial in cases of American death. The US tied La Cuica to 220 murders, and the Colombian government to more than 440 murders, although the Colombian government never really pressed formal charges. La Cuica was caught and underwent trial in 1994. Later found guilty, he was sentenced to 10 life sentences and 45 years to be served consecutively. La Cuica is still serving his sentence and is staying at the same prison where the infamous Unabomber is locked up. In an interview from prison, La Cuica surprisingly denied all of his crimes.
Por vida en la cárcel. Yo le dije que por qué si yo no había cometido ningún delito. Y ellos dijeron que no les importaba, que si yo les ayudaba, ellos traían a mi familia para acá y me daban dinero. Pero que si no les ayudaba me iban a condenar a cadena perpetua o me iban a matar en la silla eléctrica. Y me condenaron a cadena perpetua y...
Now you know you did everything they said you did.
Y con el testimonio me condenaron. Ellos no tienen ninguna prueba contra mí porque yo no cometí esos crímenes.
Number 3. Nelson Hernandez. Nelson Hernandez also goes by the name Blackie and was born in Colombia. This nickname was given to him because of his African descent. Being a close associate and partner of Pablo, he was one of his most trusted associates. For the longest time, he even worked as a guard and a hitman for the ruthless drug lord. Nelson was widely known for being a bully, but Pablo trusted him enough to let him hang out with him and feel comfortable knowing that they are right where you need to be. Nelson was famous for assassinating and murdering people. He would do what Escobar asked him to without thinking twice, which it turned out wasn't exactly the best approach. Under Escobar's employment, Nelson kidnapped Felix Gallardo, Miguel Angel, and Isabela Batista in Cali, and brought them to his boss's estate in Medellin. He helped Pablo out of 1 or 2 sticky situations by attacking Colombian judges and setting fire to all the evidence they had against him. Pablo was really pulling the strings on Nelson, as he had him kill cartel boss Kiko Moncada. Blackie was most important to Escobar when he carried out the 1993 Bogota shipping center bombing, planting 220 pounds of C4 plastic explosives in a car parked in a downtown shopping center. As a result of the bombing, over 20 people were left dead and almost 70 were wounded. Feeling guilty over what he did, Hernandez apologized to God while watching television footage of the aftermath of the attacks. Kids, women, and innocent people were killed, and it was then that Hernandez started sensing that maybe Escobar was going crazy. Scared, he lied about seeing his wife, Maria Henao, and their daughter, Manuela, in a hotel window in order to prevent Escobar from forcing him to stay put until he saw them. However, he was arrested by police as he left the payphone, and he was interrogated by the DEA. Rather than be hanged for the bombing, he gave Agent Javier Peña and Agent Steve Murphy details on Juan Diego Diaz, leading to the search block raid on Monte Cassino. As of right now, no one knows where Blackie really is. and it's assumed he's alive and well in the witness protection program.
Yeah.
Anyway,
You got it.
that was all for today's video. You
But
think the
wait,
Netflix show told the
he
entire
in the
truth
witness
about
protection,
Escobar
he killed
and his
20
Sicarios?
people
Click
still.
this video to find out what they were hiding from you. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel,
Bro,
hit the
what?
notification bell, and let us know what you thought of the video.
Bro, he killed 20 people in a bombing. Y'all put him in the witness protection program because he helped. Come on, bro. Like, see, that's what I'm saying. Pablo was nothing to play with. Like, he was nothing to play with. He had men with him that was nothing to play with either. So, no wonder he pretty much ruled Colombia. Come on now. But nah, YouTube. I need y'all to leave a like. I need y'all to leave something in the comments. Y'all ain't commenting on none of these videos, YouTube. What y'all doing? Come on now. Catch y'all on the next one.